Hello again. Good morning. Now the sound should be okay. It was just a regular check before we go on with the Penelope final conference today. We are still waiting for a couple of people to join us. We have many registrations and we would like to give everybody the possibility to listen to us and experience the outcomes of the Penelope project. So bear with us, waiting in the waiting line just for one more minute. We will start at 9:02. So in just 1 minute, and we will welcome the other participants as they are joining us. So just for your information you can experience us only online. We are today here in Lyon, in France, at the headquarters of or at the offices of Oxaliscope with my colleagues that I'm going to introduce to you in a minute. I see that people are coming in. It's nice to see many of you joining us for this event. Yeah. Okay, just we'll start now. So also, once again, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and guests, welcome to the final conference of the Penelope project. As the word final says, it may suggest that it would be the last public event of the project, but as you will hear at the end of the conference today, there are still some ongoing activities that will take place over the next and last 3 weeks until the very, very end of the project. Some of you were partially involved or supported, contributed to the project's activities. Some of you were previously informed about them. Some of you may have followed us on LinkedIn or have heard about the project from others. Today is the moment to show you all the work that we have done over the last 3 years, work that led to results that make us proud. My name is Lucia Seel. I represent one of the partners in the project, and I will have the honor to moderate today's conference. Just a few pieces of information before we literally go on. The session will be recorded. The format is that of a Zoom webinar, meaning that you cannot unmute or make yourself visible with a camera, but you can put your questions in the chat. If you have any questions during the presentations, put them simply in the chat. I will collect and monitor them and forward them to the speakers to answer them after the presentations in a dedicated questions and answers sessions. Or you can write the questions at the very end as the need comes. And now, without much further ado, I would like to give the floor to my colleagues, Christine André and Claire Morando from Oxaliscope, to introduce to you the Penelope project. Christine, Claire, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I hope everything is okay with the sound.
Speak loud.
Okay, so I am Christine André from Oxaliscope. Oxalis is a national cooperative of entrepreneurs that offer to entrepreneurs services, support and social protection, but on an external point of view, we are one single enterprise. It is an original model. So I will just present briefly why Penelope project and the objective. So initially, when we built this project 3 years ago, cluster organization had many solicitation demands from their members to better support SMEs on skills challenge. So they had a central role to play in responding to this skills challenge. And in fact, we cannot address this scale challenge if we don't take into account an essential transition toward socially and gender inclusive work environment. So for that, cluster organization needed to understand better the core gender mainstreaming principle. It was fundamental to have this step to be able in a second time to better support and disseminate the gender equality approach into European SMEs. Why we chose the name Penelope? It was a reference to Penelope Ruiz, that was the first entrepreneur in Spain in the sector of furniture industry who implemented the gender equality principle in her company. So who are the Penelope partners today? So we have the coordinator Oxalis, me and my colleague Claire, who is a national expert in gender equality. We have Audrey, so you cannot see the other faces, that's a pity, but okay, after everybody will present himself, herself. We have a France cluster, which is a national association of cluster in France, Amuebla, that is a cluster in Spain, Romanian Textile Concept in Romania, that is a cluster, and Lucia Chill, that she is an expert in Austria on European cluster globally. So the main objective of Penelope was to encourage gender equality implementation strategies in European SMEs using the cluster approach by developing lots of materials and guidelines. We had 4 objectives. The first is to define guidelines for cluster staff on gender mainstreaming. The second is to support SMEs in building their gender inclusive culture with innovative tools and gender equality strategies. The third one was to facilitate online cooperation and blended learning opportunities. And the last one was to develop a methodology and attractive training programs for cluster and for SMEs. It is a picture of the results we obtain. We will, during the following hour, enter more in detail in the different results, but it is the main picture. We have good practices, interviews, guidelines, and videos, lots of videos to explain how to include women participation in the labor market. And we have a virtual learning environment that is free of charge during 5 years. But now let's talk about some basic concepts, because when we speak about gender mainstreaming principle, it's not always easy to understand what we are talking about what. So I will give the floor to Claire, my colleague, that will explain this concept and principle.
Thank you very much, Christine. It was a great pleasure to work with you. Thank you, Audrey, my main French co-worker, and thank you all my co-workers. We worked together with professionalism, with benevolence, sisterhood, and brotherhood. We have a French word to name both sisterhood and brotherhood, is adelphité. To introduce these few words, I would like to say how important is to worry about professional equality between women and men, even if women have always worked farmers because they were farmers' wives, shopkeepers because shopkeepers' wives, and so on. But they worked very often without acknowledgement and without protection of work laws, and without security, and mainly without wages, salary. But now a big number of women work in companies. It's the reason why it's necessary to make a diagnosis of the situation in each company and determine how to improve equality. Here is the topic of Penelope project. Perhaps, like a lot of people, you think that equality at work has been achieved. One might think that equality at work is really effective because we have made a lot of progress. It's both true and wrong. It's true because there has been progress regarding laws, but it's wrong because very often these laws are not implemented. Moreover, around the world, women's rights are threatened, and in one country in four, women's rights are retreating. That's said by UNO 2024. This consideration, many women at work in companies and ineffective laws justify Penelope project. But what is exactly professional equality? The first thing we think is equality of wages on the same number of women and men. But it is only a small part of the issue. We have also to consider access to training, promotion, organization of life stage, health and safety at work. How to hire without gender discrimination, the fight against all forms of sexism, even if the equality of wages is still the most obvious. As a team, we'll all work together about the meaning of a few words. For example, can we be equal and different? A lot of people think we can't be equal as we are different. The basement of equality is law, which is the same for both sexes. We are different, but if we do the same work, for example, we must have the same wages, salary. Equity and equality. Is it the same? There is a frequent confusion between two notions, equality and equity. On the one hand, equity is a fact of giving someone what we consider they need or deserve. It's not objective. On the other hand, equality is giving everyone having the same job, the same salary without any discrimination. Then the word equity should not be part of our vocabulary. Sexism at work. I would like to speak just a little about the difficult issue of sexism at work. First, people should be taught how to spot it, to name sexist attitude correctly, not to minimize things, to react and also to prevent it. It's a system that must be fought at every level, mainly ordinary sexism, common at the workplace and often tolerated. For example, sexist jokes, which can hide and bring on more dangerous attitude and encourage others to do the same if nobody knows anything. Everybody of us is responsible. My conclusion, it's necessary to get acquainted with appropriate knowledge to build professional equality between women and men. It's necessary to train, and it's necessary to use good tools. Penelope Project offers you knowledge, training, and a lot of tools. I hope it will be useful for you. Equality is not a belief, it's not an opinion. Professional equality leans on laws and are necessary to build a fair society without any gender discrimination and without any form of discrimination, so as to achieve the fair society we are all dreaming of.
Thank you very much, Claire and Christine, for this introduction into the raison d'être for Penelope Project. And now I would like to invite our next speaker, my colleague Lisa Benard from France Clusters, to introduce us into a key activity of the project. Lisa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lucia. Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Benard from France Clusters, a national association bringing clusters from all sectors and all regions together in France. 300 clusters represent about 55,000 companies, mainly SMEs. At France Clusters, we work for many years now on the topic of gender equality at the workplace and are very proud to be a partner of the Penelope project. During the first year of this project, we focused our efforts on drafting a handbook aiming at giving clusters the means to support SMEs wanting to integrate gender perspectives in their practices with a glossary and concepts, good practices and interviews from across Europe, useful and practical gender mainstreaming tools. Here you can see a QR code to download our handbook, if not done yet, and we will give you the link to this handbook also in the chat. So the first part of our handbook is aimed to gain knowledge on what we talk about. As Crea said, what is the difference between equality, equity, parity, mixity? What is a stereotype? What is discrimination? What is an equality diagnosis? What does it mean to combat sexism in the workplace? And moreover, what are the benefits for SMEs implementing gender mainstreaming strategies and actions? So this introduction of the handbook is clarifying all these points for a good start into your journey towards gender equality in the workplace. Then the second part of the handbook is aimed at inspiring you. So with concrete ideas and examples of gender equality actions, thanks to 28 good practices we gathered and 20 interviews of representatives from public organizations, clusters, SMEs, universities, networks, and trade unions. Their testimonies can help you to understand why and how to start an action on gender equality in the workplace. We were positively surprised to see the great echo at EU level when we asked to contribute with experiences and knowledge of many stakeholders to our collection of good practices and interviews. All these contributions come from 10 countries: Austria, Bulgaria, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Romania, Spain, Sweden, and Lithuania, as well as other European networks and associations and global institutions, making our handbook a first truly pan-European and even international effort of its kind. We classified good practices on the major topics of gender equality in the workplace, just as equal pay, working conditions, talent recruitment, career progress and access to training, maternity, work and balance and flexible working arrangements, gender monitoring, sexism and harassment, and finally, workplace culture and institutional transformation. Here you can see some examples of how our good practices and interviews are presented in the handbook, always with the same structure to learn from them. On good practices, you always find the starting point of it, objectives, stakeholders, challenges, and results, as well as a contact, so to have the possibility to learn more and go deeper on it. Interviews give insights about the situation on gender equality in the specific sectors of the interviewees, the challenges they faced, and how they overcome them. This input was analyzed and combined with intensive research. It led to the design of 18 tools for a gender mainstreaming approach that was structured in the 8 major topics of gender equality in the workplace are already mentioned, from institutional transformation, workplace culture, recruitment, training and career progression, equal pay, working conditions, maternity leaves and work-life balance, sexism and harassments in the workplace, gender monitoring, performance and reporting. This toolkit, crafted to effectively address the needs of SMEs, aims to initiate the foundational steps, in guiding clusters to develop methodologies and assist their member companies in aspects related to gender equality. You can see here an extract of a tool to improve recruiting and eliminate potential bias. As an example, you can learn what to do and how to do it with detailed and concrete actions. By drafting this handbook, we identified a real interest in the topic, a rich variety of inspiring examples on how SMEs can be supported on gender equality, a willingness to share good practices and inspire others, and a shared conviction that more actions need to be taken. So we started small, but finally did more. And we first collected local practices and testimonies around us, and finally included also EU and international ones that can be easily duplicated. We succeeded to double the number of good practices identified and double the number of interviews we carried out. And we are proud of this handbook that as a very successful first result of our Penelope project, since we know that it has already been downloaded 950 times instead of the target of 150 times. So building on this first brick, we could further develop the support and training that clusters can offer to SMEs on gender equality. And my colleague Mirella will now present you another brick of these training materials. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always difficult to find the right button to unmute oneself. Thank you very much, Lisa, for the introduction into the work related to the handbook, the Penelope handbook, that it almost became a brand of its own with so many downloads as we have seen. And now I would like to pass on the floor to my colleague Mirela Gretipuiu from the Romanian Textile Concept Cluster. So you will hear now more about the very dynamic and visual activity of our project. And in the meantime, please write the questions to on the chat. Thank you. So Mirela, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Like I've been already introduced, I'm Mirela Gretipuiu from the Romanian Textile Concept Cluster, and I will be presenting to you another tool developed within our project. So, as Penelope is about equality and about diversity, and we wanted our results to reflect that too, because we as individuals are different and we learn and retain information in different ways. So we thought, why not combine text and visuals and sound? And that's how our series of short video pills that are available on our YouTube channel came to life. They follow the 8 main topics of the Penelope handbook that Lisa has just presented. And they are practical and engaging resources created to illustrate the main concepts, strategies, and actions described in this handbook, but also to complete the information offered. They bring theory to life, showing real stories, expert insights, and examples of how equality can be implemented in daily work. So let me guide you through these 22 video appeals that we've created and what you can expect to discover. When we talk about professional equality, it's important to use the right words and understand the concepts. As you already heard, our colleague Claire has already explained the difference between equity and equality, two words often used interchangeable, but which mean different things. But you can hear her give a more detailed explanation through a relatable story. So it's a great starting point for understanding the language of gender mainstreaming. Creating a gender equal organization starts with institutional culture. In this section, we explore how companies can overcome resistance to change through open dialogue and transparency, and how gender budgeting helps align resources and decisions with equality goals. Sorry. You can also learn from Beatriz Coloma, People and CSR Manager at Centix, a Spanish family-owned company, how they launched their first gender equality plan in 2018. She shares how people-centered values helped transform the company culture and promote equality at every level. Gender equality begins with how we recruit. These videos show how to make recruitment processes fair and inclusive by reducing unconscious bias, building inclusive employer brands, and using structured tools to ensure fairness. We also feature an inspiring interview from the Ocean Technology Campus Rostock, where Kerstin Kastel and Oliver Zielinski explain how they are attracting and retaining talented women in technical fields. Equality doesn't stop at hiring. It continues throughout people's career. Here we look at how companies can bridge the promotion gap between men and women and ensure that leadership opportunities are open to everyone. We also discuss the importance of training programs designed through a gender lens so that learning really meets the diverse needs of employees. Equal pay for equal work remains a cornerstone of gender equality. Our videos cover the gender pay gap and the new EU Pay Transparency Directive, as well as practical steps companies can take from transparent negotiation processes to internal pay audits. Equality also means protecting health, safety, and well-being at work. Florence Chaper from ANACT reminds us that gender differences can affect exposure to workplace risks. She highlights why it's essential to assess working conditions through a gender perspective to improve both well-being and performance. Another video focuses on flexible working hours as a key to balancing professional and personal life. At SETEM in Spain, employees and HR managers share how flexibility benefits both sides, creating happier teams and stronger organizations. Supporting parents and especially mothers is essential to retaining skilled talent. We explore how family-friendly policies such as flexible hours and career break support help women stay in and thrive in their careers. The Compass initiative from Business Upper Austria, presented by Irene Moser, is a great example. It promotes flexible work, job sharing, and equal pay to make leadership roles more accessible for women. To build a safe and respectful workplace, we must address sexism and harassment directly. Our experts discuss how to identify and respond to sexist behavior and how to differentiate it from harassment, showing how one can lead to the other if ignored. Flaviana Rotaru, the president of the Rural Health Cluster, shares a concrete approach to implementing harassment policies, emphasizing communication, confidentiality, and protection for everyone involved. Because equality also means safety and respect for all. And finally, to make all these efforts meaningful, we need to measure progress. This last section explains how to monitor and evaluate gender equality strategies using data, indicators, and transparent reporting. If you are a cluster, you can finish your journey with finding out from our colleague Lucia Sil how clusters can guide SMEs in applying these principles, helping them create workplaces that are not only fairer, but also more innovative and competitive. Together, these Penelope video pills translate theory into justice. They show that gender equality is not only a value, it's a strategy for innovation, for sustainability and success. So we really hope that these short videos will inspire you to take action, spark new ideas, and start conversations within your own organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mirella, as well, for this very lively and visual introduction to the element of our project. And now I would like to give the floor to my colleague Raquel Ortega Martinez from Amuebla cluster in Spain to introduce us, if I can say like this, the highlight of the Penelope project. Raquel, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Raquel. I come from Amuebla, which is the furniture cluster in the region of Murcia, in the southeast of Spain. And now I'm going to share a live preview of the platform, which is already available. But I want to show you a little bit how the platform works. So I think you can see the screen now. The platform is very easy to register. You just have to write down your name and set up your own password. It's very important to remember that the username that you include has to be the name that will appear in the final certificate of the course. So please make sure to use your full name for this. And when you log in into the platform, if I can log in into the platform, just 1 second. There you go. Now into the platform, the first thing you can find is a very nice presentation video that we prepared a while ago. And then the most important thing that you can find in this first page is the user guide. The user guide, it's a guide that we have prepared that explains in detail how to navigate the platform, how to access each one of the training paths inside of the platform, and the activities that you can find, how can you create and download your own certificate, etc. All of the information is here. And then if we go back to the platform, this is you have a presentation of the project that says where you can access the 2 learning paths that I'm going to present afterwards. And here you have all of the information for you as a user, as a learner. If you go to the section called training, you will find 2 different learning paths. The first one is addressed to clusters and the second one is addressed to SMEs. The idea behind it is to offer 2 complementary but separate training paths that have 2 different target groups. But it doesn't mean if you're not an SME, it doesn't mean that you cannot take this learning path. Or if you're not a cluster, it doesn't mean you cannot take the one for the SMEs. But I'm gonna go first with the one for the SMEs, which is the longest one because it has 8 modules, as you can see here. Each module corresponds to each one of the sections of the handbook that Lisa presented. These are our 8 core areas that we have identified in the Penelope project and that have followed us during the whole of the project. And in here, you can choose how you wish to take this training. You can take all of the modules each one by one and then get your final certificate at the end. Or if you are interested in a specific topic, you can take the training for that specific topic. For example, let's go to the first one, which is work culture and institutional transformation. And in here, what you can see is first, you have a learning training materials that are in PDF format that you can download here so that you can read later in detail if you want. But all of the information is here. Access to the tool is here as well. And then here you have different activities to reinforce your learning. Most of them, in this case, are multiple choice tests, but there are other activities that you can explore. And then at the end, you can get access to your certificate if you go back here and you see your progress after you have completed all of your activities, not in my case now because only 23% has been completed so far. You will find here some button where you can download your certificate, which is an official certificate for the project. Now the training path for the clusters is looking a little bit different, is shorter first. It is focused on 5 modules, which you can see here. The first one is Foundations of Gender Equality. Then we have Gender Innovation and Competitiveness, Capacity Building and Training, Awareness Raising and Advocacy, and Networking and Partnerships. These topics were identified among all of the partners of the project, which all of us are experts in clusters or are clusters ourselves, as the most relevant topics that clusters should start to work on to promote gender equality among their own SMEs and their own associates. So the process is the same if you go to the module that you are most interested in, or if you want to start since the beginning and take all of the modules, you just access the training here. You have first reading part at the beginning here with all of the, in this case, for example, key concepts about gender equality, about different frameworks from the EU, but also worldwide, and etc. And then you have activities here. In the activities here, you can find, for example, true and false activities. You can find also drag the words. You can find multiple choice tests also. And another one, which is here, which is a crossword where you have to find the keywords that we have identified. So a little bit of fun ways on how to retain what you have learned in previous presentation. Again, when you go back, if you have taken all of the modules and you see that your process here is 100%, in here you will see the button where you will be able to download your certificate from the project. With this platform, we hope that you make use of it, that you promote it among your SMEs, and that you explore it, explore the content, and try to implement as much of the tools and the strategies that we promote in this project and that we have very thoroughly designed and devised for this project. And we really encourage you to take active steps into promoting gender equality into your own ecosystems. And thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you as well, Raquel, for this presentation and from taking us live through a tour, through a journey on the platform. And it goes without saying that some of you who may have already been registered on the platform are also going to be the ambassadors for it in your work, for your colleagues and so on. So we would like to see many more of you using it in the end, not just registering, but finalizing and getting the certificates as well. So now we have introduced you as well through the tools that we have developed, and now comes the questions how to use them in practice. And for this, I would like to give the floor now to my colleague Audrey Demort from Oxalis Scope, so that she can show us the practical case of working with the materials, with the target groups, with the clusters, and with the SMEs. Audrey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lucia. Hello, everyone. I am Audrey from Oxalis. So I will present you the last part of our work, the workshops. So why we decided to develop workshops? The goal of this part of the project was to create a clear and practical methodology for awareness raising workshops aimed at SMEs. We know that in many SMEs, gender equality is still not an everyday topic. It's not necessarily because people don't care, but often because they don't know how, they don't have time, the right resources, or simply the tools to start the conversation. Sometimes there is a fear of saying the wrong thing or feeling that it's only for big corporations, for example. With this tool, our ambition was to design a simple, hands-on, and transferable approach that would make it easy for any organization, a cluster, a federation, or maybe a SME itself, to organize engaging and effective workshops on gender equality. Our intention was to demystify the topic and to show that talking about equality can be constructive, concrete, and even enjoyable when it's done through collective activities and reflection. These workshops were first tested within the project and then shared with partners clusters so they could replicate and spread them within their own networks and activities, ensuring that the results of Penelope can continue to live and grow after the end of the project. So what does it include? To support this, we created a reference document, the training methodology guide. It's not just a manual, it's a toolbox that gathers everything needed to design, to organize, and to lead an engaging workshop on gender equality. Let me briefly summarize what it includes. First, it presents some key concepts and definitions about gender equality. For example, what is gender, what is stereotype, parity, mixity, a bit of theory, but explained in a clear and accessible way so everyone can understand the basics and feel comfortable with the terminology. Second, it explains why it is so important to organize these workshops in SMEs. This gives all the arguments on why it is important to improve gender equality at work, to improve working atmosphere, to help attract and retain talent, growing legal and social expectations, and so on. It explains that gender equality is not only a moral issue, it's a driver for innovation, performance, and team cohesion. The workshops help them to anticipate these expectations and turn them into opportunities for improvement. And then the guide offers pedagogical advice, how to structure a workshop, lead discussions, and handle participants' reactions and questions. For example, how to respond to resistance, how to encourage participation, and how to create a safe and open environment for dialogue. More generally, it is about learning how to be a good workshop facilitator, specifically on the topic of gender equality. It also includes practical information, the ideal duration, what material to prepare, and some tips. It gives advice on what to do and what not to forget before, during, and after the workshop. Finally, it provides a detailed workshop plan, including sample activities, guided questions, and even an icebreaker to start the session in a positive and dynamic way. In short, the guide is designed to make anyone, even those without prior experiences, feel confident and well prepared to lead a workshop. So how it was developed? This methodology was developed by all Penelope team and the precious support of Claire Morando, who is expert in gender equality and facilitation. She brought her field experience gathered through many years of working with companies and organizations of different sizes. Her contribution helped ensure that the guide would not be too academic or abstract, but instead rooted in real practice. We worked in a collaborative and iterative way, testing ideas, collecting feedback, and refining the content step by step. Our goal was not to produce a theoretical manual, but a living and adaptable tool based on real experiences and feedback from the field. 2 workshops formats were developed. The first one for SMEs is designed to raise awareness among managers and employees through a mix of short presentations and interactive exercises, encouraging them to reflect and share their own experiences. The second one, for clusters, aims to train them to organize and run these workshops themselves so they can spread the approach in their own network and act as multipliers. Both formats were tested at least once in each of the 4 partner countries, France, Austria, Spain, and Romania. Each team organized pilot workshops and collected valuable and diverse feedback. After the design and testing phases, we moved in the implementation stage, where each partner country organized its own workshops. This was a key moment. It allowed us to validate the methodology in real conditions and see how participants reacted to it. Here you can see the number of workshops and participants per country. The participation level was very positive with a great diversity of profiles: HR professionals, SME managers, cluster representatives, employees, and even individual entrepreneurs. The diversity made the discussion richer and brought many different perspectives. Some workshops are still being held as we approach the official end of the project in mid-November. Beyond their educational roles, these workshops also served as a real space for exchange. They offered an opportunity to present all the tools developed under Penelope project, including the handbooks, the awareness-raising videos, and the online training platform. Each workshop was therefore not only about discussing the key gender equality topics, but also about demonstrating how these tools can be used in participants' daily professional practices. The idea was that every participant would leave a workshop with both a better understanding of the topic and practical, ready-to-use resources. We also took the time to present the training platform in really detail so that participants would feel confident using it on their own afterwards. We showed them how to log in, how to follow the different modules, and so on. The first feedbacks collected during these sessions are very positive. Participants particularly appreciated the interactive format of the workshops, the discussions, small group work, and concrete examples drawn from everyday business life. To conclude, these workshops have been a key achievement of Penelope project. They have turned our work into a face-to-face action, helping SMEs, cluster, and individuals engage with gender equality in a concrete and meaningful way. Through them, we have seen that change often begins with a conversation, a simple moment when people stop, listen, and reflect together. We are proud of the work achieved, proud of the partnership built, and confident that this methodology will continue to inspire others. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Audrey, for your contribution and also leading. I think it was not said before, you and Christine were leading this project over the last 3 years. Time also to say thank you for that. And now, as announced earlier, it is time to open the floor for you, for the audience, for questions and answers. And so far, there is one question coming from Emmanuel Grumieux. Are the different resources and tools available in languages other than English? And if not, is the translation planned soon? So who would like to answer the question? Lisa?
Yes, I can do it. So we are happy to tell you that indeed translations are available in French, German, Spanish, and Romanian. So far, all the training modules for SMEs are translated, and further resources are being translated in other languages. For all the resources are translated in French and German, I think, so far. So, and more is coming soon. So don't hesitate to contact us if you don't find all the resources. But most of them, as I wrote in the chat, is available from the e-learning platform. And we will give you also the contact email, the generic contact email, so that you can contact us as well.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. And we still have 3 weeks left to wrap all the materials up. As you know, at the end, it's always the effort to put everything well in place. And we will also, once all this information and materials are uploaded on the website, we will inform you as well by email directly, since you have been today with us. There is another question from Anthony. If there are any cases from tourism sectors that have been discussed, who would like to pick up this question? Is there any? it looks from the good practices, we have been covering different sectors, but unfortunately, the tourism is not covered. However, we would be interested in hearing from experiences and continuing to learn about this. It will be difficult to incorporate all these learnings into the handbook, but what we can do is also continue to share and speak about such good practices or experiences from tourism across the tourism area or other sectors uncovered using our LinkedIn channel and as well our website. So this sounds already like final words, but they are not, since we do plan to stay engaged in promoting and in making our work visible also after the end of the project. Before wrapping up, I see that we still have, there is there? No, there is. This is the question on the chat. Oh, sorry. Yes, I see from Maria a question. If all these results remain available, for how long? And she would like to take a look at them. Raquel, you would like to be?
Yes, the results, especially everything available on the website and the platform, will be available for at least 5 years after the end of the project. So you can download them and access for the next 5 years. So please register, as Lucia said, register into the platform and use the platform to download and to access all of the training materials. And the handbook, the guide for workshops, and the videos will be available for a long time, I hope.
This is the power of dialogue and collaboration and learning from each other. What we wanted to achieve as well with the project and also with today's conference. There is an input from Italy that there is a focus in equality in tourism, and here is the link. Thank you very much for sharing this. So there is another question. If we can name a highlight during the years working in depth on this topic. Raquel, please.
For me, the highlight of the project has been first to be able to work with very strong women from different countries with a very strong focus on gender equality and to promoting gender equality into the SMEs ecosystem. And also, I think we all learned a lot during the research phase for the handbook. Because it was a very thorough research that we all performed, and we learned a lot, and that was the grounding of the project. So for me, that would be one of the highlights of this project, what we have learned so much from other people, but also from each other within this project. The collaboration has been very strong since the beginning.
And if I may give up my hat of moderator and put that as a project partner and share my experience, I would say a highlight is that we succeeded to go beyond our, let's say, initial borders that we have set for our project. It was initially just 4 countries, and alone the fact that we succeeded to not only to motivate, but to engage and get contributions from other European and also worldwide. We have as well contributions from UNIDO incorporated in our work. So I think all these, going broader and seeing the interest that the work has raised can be. From our perspective, we're a small consortium. I think it's a real achievement, and we hope to be able to continue keeping up this visibility and make a lot of people work with the results that we have created for the sustainability. And because I think all in this virtual room believe in the reasons why this is necessary. So thank you very much for the feedback. And I think we have, if the clock works well electronically, 6 more minutes, and we would like to use them with good purpose. And that is kindly asking you to help us, and not help, but support the mission of Penelope by providing your feedback. Showing, how have you experienced not only today's final conference, but also the let's say the learnings that you have gained, and your interest in keeping them going on in the future. So it would be very, very much appreciated, say, the sustainability of the project and keeping it alive, if you could use the link that I have shared in the chat. And while you do that, it literally takes less than 4 minutes. We tested it yesterday. There is another question, whether it is possible to organize a workshop with SMEs from different sectors of activity. Yes, so I would like Audrey, if you can say.
Yes, the workshop we have organized are with different sectors of activities. They are really open workshops. And if you want, there is still few workshops organized since the end of the project, mid-November. So if you want to participate, you can register to one of the workshops of the end of the project. We are going to send you a link here to register if you want. But
so actually, I have already put the link while you were speaking. So here is the link for a workshop dedicated to SMEs, so involving the SMEs. It will be done in French. I can say from my side, from Austria, that the workshop with the SMEs will take place in real person on the 5th of November. So whoever wants to come to Linz in Austria and in the evening of next Wednesday, 5th of November, is very much welcome to do so. So I see that there is another. Oh, thank you. That's for the comment in the questions and answers. That there are great content to expose SMEs and clusters to the topic with a very low barrier. Indeed, this was it was the purpose that we had, as cluster practitioners, to make things easy, understandable, easy accessible for the SMEs, since that's the daily work of a cluster organizations to involve its members. I hope there are 3 more minutes. I hope that in the meantime we have quite a few content and answers from your side. It's difficult to check at the same time right now. We will do immediately afterwards. Yes, I think my colleagues have emphasized and expressed again the warm invitation to register on the e-learning platform and use it. So again, we care a lot by making things accessible and put in practice. Check on or read and use the handbook, the video appeals, the methodology for workshops. In other words, it's simply take action to bring gender equality into the strategy that we have learned of gender mainstreaming. And of course, if you find all or some of the outcomes useful, please invite people to use it. It's a unique set of materials created by Clusters for Clusters. And again, these materials will be online for the next 5 years. And see the section where the results, where everything will be uploaded. And if you need anything more, please write us an email. It's penelope@oxalis-scop.org. And yes, I think we are perfectly in time. 1 last minute to say simply thank you for your time and for your interest to the Penelope project. It is not the real, we do not consider it as a real end, even if technically the project ends on the 18th of November, but the outcomes are our legacy. We will be very happy to hear from you afterwards in the years to come about how you use them, so that we are open to continue the dialogue on gender equality, gender mainstreaming, also from now on. And I think there is also, yes, the invitation to organize your own workshops in the future by using the Penelope guidelines. But I think with this, it's 10:00. We started at 9:00. Normally, this is a challenge. There is one question. Sorry, there are still questions coming. So, any activity in Italy in the scientific world? Thank you, Adriana, for the question. And actually, at this moment, I can answer it since we have had the support of the EWMD network, which is the European Women Management Development Network, that has representation chapters in Austria, Germany, Switzerland, Lithuania, but also Italy, a very powerful one. And EWMD has supporting giving us an interview about the role of networks, women networks, in these processes. And there were good practices from Italy captured in the handbook. I think Majoli and Teddy Bear are two of them, coming also from Emilia-Romagna region. And scientific world. Yes, we are in contact also with other projects that are doing this, just to name the Jill project colleagues, but also the Debuting project, which is another project of under the Interreg Europe program that is a bit of a sister project to us. And we are collaborating in sharing the good practices. And there, the region of Emilia-Romagna is very strongly represented with different good practices that can be very useful as well. So I will take the very last moment to see
There is one
in the chat, or maybe someone can put the Debuting project in the chat. There is a question if we think the guide materials creating or part of it can be useful for other type of organizations other than SMEs like RTOs, public bodies. Yes, thank you for the question. Indeed, we have been addressing the cluster stakeholders, meaning that on one hand, with a priority for the cluster organizations and for the SMEs. But as you can see from the type of good practices collected and included in the handbook, they are coming as well from the policy making areas, and as well from the research. If I'm not wrong, I can say, looking at Mirella, there is the University of Galați that has also provided, from Iași, sorry, a Romanian city that has provided good practices. So again, yes, the workshops are flexible. The workshops methodology is flexible. It can be used by cluster organizations, but since you have access to the materials, you can adapt and adjust them as you wish. You can simply download them and use them. There is another question to share the download for the handbook. Oh, thank you very much. You are helping us reaching 1,000 downloads even today. We don't have to wait until end of November. If you go on this link, please read down until the very bottom. There is the button where it says download. You just click on it, and there it is. And as mentioned before, I think I shared the link. We can do that again. Is where on our website will all the materials be gathered. We have the section results, project activities and results. For now, there is, I will put right now in the chat again the link. There is so it's called here methodology guide, but it is under the section activities and results. It is a preliminary, let's say, collection of materials. This will be enlarged as well with all the translations in the languages you have heard before. So yes, all will be there. The Penelope project on LinkedIn, yes, it is. I can thank you very, very much for this. It's on the Penelope project. It's with at Penelope project. You can find it there. We are very happy and proud to have 355 and maybe more from now on followers there. It's an active group. We have also did a lot of presentations at different European events as well. But we will continue. We will keep this LinkedIn account active to keep on the dialogue for on gender equality and gender mainstreaming. So yes, please follow us. We are happy about each individual follower who wants to learn more about our activities. I see that if there is, oh yes, there was just a comment. If we are all here I would like maybe just to take 1 second to share as well the link of the debuting project for you to see. There is a big collection as well of other good practices, more coming from the. So here it is for those interesting for more let's say parallel activities, sister activities, and with this, I don't know if there is any other question. I will then just say again a big thank you for your participation, and we look forward to staying in touch with you via email, via website, via LinkedIn. All the best for your work with gender equality, and goodbye from Lyon.